In this game, winners win, and I only back winners. Trainer Kenny McPeak is a proven winner, and his horses are in my portfolio. And now they can be in yours too. McPeak's champion horses and Derby hopefuls are now featured on Morning Line. With Morning Line, I don't just watch the race. I own the moment. I invest in champions. This is my edge. Buy, sell, trade anytime. Morning Line. Own the game.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Bobby helping us out as we preview the Sweet Life. This is going to be race 9 on Saturday, February the 7th at Santa Anita. It's going to close out a really strong stakes card at Santa Anita. But before we dive into our race preview, we want to let you know about morningline.io. Unlock access to some of racing's most coveted bloodlines, mares and colts connected to championship pedigrees. Morning Line is a private SEC-regulated marketplace where approved participants can trade licensed interest in elite racehorses. No ongoing cost. Build your stable only at morningline.io. Mike, it is not an easy way to close out the card at Santa Anita. If you are alive in like a pick 4 or a pick 5 and you get to the closing leg and you're feeling good, you probably shouldn't feel very good if you're in this race because you may need a ton of horses to get through this one. If you look at our top selections when we do we finish up the video, you can just see how tough it is because we are using a lot of different horses in here. Kind of starting with horses who will take money. Hamika will take money just because what she's done on the dirt. We don't know what she'll take, what she'll do on the turf here. 6.5 probably fits her pretty well down the hill, but she's definitely a horse who feels like she's going to be way shorter than I would want to bet in a race like this.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised that she's the Morning Line favorite, you know, when you factor in the connections and then I guess the running lines as well, but she's never run on this surface before. And it's not like she's, you know, some kind of superstar on the dirt. So it does feel like she's going to have to be maybe better on turf than she is on dirt if she's going to win here. And they're going to ask her to take a really short price. Outside of her, I felt like I could make Gino by the time I was done. I felt like I wanted to make cases for, I don't know, 6 or 7 of these horses.
I agree. And I think the 10, Mohaven, who's been solid, is also a Calbred who we don't really know what she's going to do on the turf either. So the top 2 choices on the Morning Line are horses who have never been on the grass, and they're just some really appealing bigger prices that you can take some swings at here. Let's see what Timeform US thinks about how this race will shape up. They've got Light One up front. This horse is really, really quick, Mike. And you know, she's going to have a little bit of speed to her outside, but I think she's faster than Amika and probably faster than Mohaven.
It'll be interesting to see how this place pays out because you're right. I mean, Light One Up, she's a fast horse. I guess we should mention she's another horse who's never run on turf before, though. So
yeah,
she's going to have to bring her speed over to the new surface. I expect Hamika to be right up close. You know, she's a pretty fast horse. The other surface switcher, Mohaven, got a little bit of speed, could be up close. This pace was not easy to decipher for me, but I'm kind of with you. Light One Up, at least on dirt, she's shown a lot of speed.
It's funny, of all those 3 that we mentioned, she might be bred the best for the turf, actually, with the dam, a 3-time winner. Let's meet the field here for the Sweet Life. $100,000 stakes race for these 3-year-old fillies. They'll be going downhill on the downhill turf course at Santa Anita, about 6.5 furlongs. We start with Hypergamy, who, you know, she's pretty interesting. She's coming off a 4th place finish where she was behind LaVille Lumiere. They're right next to each other, but they were only separated by a length from 1st to 4th there. And Hypergamy has shown that she can sit a little closer. In fact, Mike, her win came when she was on the front end. Yeah. So I don't think she's going to be on the lead in here with those quicker sprinters that we were talking about, but she's not a horse who has to be dead last in her races like she's been a little closer to in her last few.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I would just say, I know the lone win, it's a race that's hard to sort of get a handle on because she just got loose on the lead and wired a field of maidens. And other than that, she hasn't really been able to make a serious late threat in her races. I personally feel like she's run well in basically every one of her starts. I know she hasn't won that much. I think she's run well several times. And in her 2 most recent starts, the 2 stakes races going the mile, Gino, I just don't like the trips that she got in either one of those races. And I think she ran a lot better maybe than the ultimate finishing position looks. I don't mind her cutting back a little bit in this race. Feel like she's going to be a good price in here. She's one of the horses I'm very, very interested in.
You know, that 78 buyer she earned when she broke her maiden on the turf, that's actually the top turf buyer in the field here too. Because some of these horses, they're wild cards that we mentioned on the dirt that have run a little bit faster. They're going to be trying the turf for the first time. It's a very competitive race, and she's one that absolutely has a shot in here. Right next door is La Ville Lumiere. This is the horse who beat her, and I think we have a replay of these two from that Blue Northern last time out. You know, this was a good effort for both of these fillies. They just had it was a tale of two trips, honestly. You've got La Ville Lumiere, who's tucked inside and is able to find a way through a very tight spot, gets backed up, and then you can see stays along the rail, gets an opening mid-stretch, and shoots up late. And Hypergamy's got to go way to the outside. So just two different trips.
Yeah, that's how I looked at it too. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from this horse for winning that race last time, but and she did have to wait in there. She was always sort of sitting right in behind, and she did have to wait a little bit and got shuffled a little bit around the final turn, waiting for the rail to open. But ultimately, it opened for her, and she just got a perfect trip through on the inside. If you go back and watch the full replay, you will see that Hypergamy just had to, was on the outside the entire way, was basically 3-4 wide all the way around that final turn, while this horse was just sitting on the rail waiting for room.
Yours sincerely is the third, is the number 3, and yours sincerely actually was a dead heat third with La Ville Lumiere a couple starts back. They were both in the Jimmy Durante. Then yours sincerely came back on January the 11th and won and was able to defeat Umbral, who is a rival in this race. I think we have a replay of that one. What I like about this filly, Mike, is that when she came into the US, she was a stone cold closer. She was showing no early speed. In her first couple starts, she was way, way out of it, and she would just show a really quick turn of foot. And in her last couple races, she has shown a lot more positional speed, a little lot more versatility. They've been able to put her in the race earlier. And what actually was really surprising was last time she was able to do that, even cutting back to a sprint. It's usually the opposite, right? When they stretch out, you could see them show a little bit more positional speed. That was not the case. I think she's just improving. I think she's just getting a little bit better. And now in this big field where there could be a lot of different trips for horses, I like that she's got some versatility to her. And I think 6.5 down the hill should be perfect.
I agree. Good call pointing out the sort of change in running style recently, because I think that's really important for her. And also, listen, I went back and watched the Jimmy Durante, the race 2 back. She ran fine in there. I didn't love that performance from her because I thought overall she got a great trip in there and just wasn't good enough. I think she really appreciated cutting back in distance.
Yep.
That's my biggest take on her. I think that's the best race she's ever run by far. I think shorter distances are better for her. And I feel like if she can just take a small step forward off of that win last time, she's going to be a major player in here.
She's not the type of closer when you watched her earlier races that would have these like big, sustained, elongated closes. She would have a quick turn of foot. And that is why the 6 and 6.5 might be better for her. They go a little quicker. It sets up and then boom, she's got that little burst and she's got that finish. I agree with you very much there. We move to Soaring Angel. This one won on the career debut and then 3 straight races now where just has not shown very much. Beaten 4 lengths, beaten 8 lengths, then a bit of a layoff, came back. Most recently was behind Yours Sincerely and Umbral in that race we were just looking at. Can you build a case for this one, Mike?
I couldn't do it. Just looked at, that after the maiden win, the debut win looked overmatched in 2 stakes races, came off a little layoff last time, faced a couple of these same horses. And I don't know how you felt about it, Gino. I thought she looked overmatched by them as well.
We moved to Light One Up. She was really, really quick in the debut and again showed good speed in career start number 2. Had to go over to Churchill Downs, ran in the debutante and was only 7-2 in that race. This horse is bred well for the grass. The Dam is a 3-time winner on the turf. And I do think if we're going to say anyone is the quickest in this race, it may be her. She's a horse that I did warm up to the more and more I looked at this race, Mike. If I'm playing a pick 4 or pick 5, I want her on my ticket just in case she is the fastest in here. And turning for home, she's got a length lead on the field. I want to make sure I'd have a horse like this just in case at a pretty fair price.
I feel the same way. I mean, of the surface switchers, she was the one that I was most interested in. And I think she's a pretty dangerous horse in there. A lot of that has to do with the pedigree because she really is bred down on turf. You mentioned her Dam won 3 times on turf. They're all sprints. And she was a stakes winner down the hill. So this is kind of what the Dam wanted to do. This really, man, she was awful good, I thought, winning her career debut. She got beaten to the lead that day by a horse who's back in this race, but she was super game to close that horse down. And then they shipped her to Kentucky for a second start. That debutante was a race that was just run at a wicked contested pace, and she was involved in it from the start before she gave it up through the stretch.
Mika is a horse who is a grade 3 winner, very precocious, won the first 2 starts. Since then, just won for the last 5. And in 3 of those races, just not been close at all. I think we can maybe say distance is an issue. And if you can eliminate the race going a mile and a 16th, and maybe the race is going 7 furlongs there, a little bit farther than where she's at her best. So 6.5, this could be good for her because her wins are at 5 and 6 furlongs. I'll say I've never really thought she was that good. I've always been a little disappointed in her and kind of expected and wanted a little bit more from her. The flip side to that, I think the 6.5 fits her very well. The downhill probably fits her pretty well. And if she can sit like second or third, just off the pace a little bit, she probably gets a good trip, and she's probably faced classier horses, Mike, than most of these others in here. But I do not want to take a short price on her. Like, I think on paper she looks pretty good, but she's never really lived up to the billing like as she was supposed to after those first couple starts.
That's exactly right. I don't really have anything to add to that. If you're looking for, pedigree for this horse to make the surface switch, I mean, it's not like there's none, but I mean, personally, I don't like the Curlins on the grass, and she's a Curlin. The Dam was a good dirt horse. The second Dam, if you want to go back that far, the second Dam was a stakes winner on the grass. So, I mean, there's a little bit of pedigree here, but not a ton. And as you've already pointed out, this is a filly who's probably going to be the favorite in this race, and there's just not that much to hold on to.
She's still training well in the mornings. They've had her on the synthetic recently, that January 30th, you can see. But yeah, just if she's a short price, there are just a lot of more appealing options. Yeah. I mean, I think the horse we're going to get to next, stuck by her, the debut in the U.S. was very good. It did not get a big figure, so maybe it wasn't that strong of a race. But just visually, this horse was last of 9, was about 4 lengths off. That was inside in the 2 path, was traveling really, really well, and then angled all the way around 5 wide. Pretty impressive when she got some ground and some space in front of her. I thought she gobbled it up pretty well here, and that was going 6 furlongs. Distance-wise, I'm not sure 6.5 should be any issue. It's just how good is she? Is she a horse that needs a setup coming from off the pace? I think there are some legitimate factors, but she should be a very fair price.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I mean, she's going to be a good price, and it's not like she's a made horse yet. I don't know. I feel like I could go either way on her, Gino. I mean, obviously no real figure for her stateside debut there when she won, but she ran fine in that race. I have no problem with the race that she ran there. Even her second start of her career over in Ireland last summer, I thought she ran pretty well in that spot too. I was still looking a little bit green to me. I don't know. I don't hate her, but I don't love her. I guess if she was over 20-1, I could try to throw her in there.
We move to Umbral. She's a horse who has some speed. She's proven that she can sit a little bit close. Most recently, she was second behind Yours Sincerely. But you look through the running lines, and you're going to just see a lot of rivals in here who have gotten the better of her recently. She's going to have to turn the tables on Yours Sincerely. Laville Lumiere, 2 starts back, who was in front of her. Yours Sincerely was also in that race. On the dirt, Hamika was in front of her, and Bourbon and Ginger was too. So I respect her because I think she does show up. She shows her speed. She's pretty honest, but I think this level might just be a little bit too tough. Could you make a case for her?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really like her enough to want to try to include her in this race. I mean, I think there's an argument to be made that obviously she's just better sprinting. And so, what I thought was a really bad performance, 2 back in the grade 3. All right, maybe she just doesn't want to go the mile. Even if that's the case, we showed the replay of her most recent start when they turned her back. What's her excuse in that race? She always had position on Yours Sincerely in that race. She had every chance to win there, and she was second best. Why am I supposed to believe she's going to be better than Yours Sincerely in this race?
Trying to figure out Bourbon and Ginger, who was a debut winner, but just has not shown anything since that career debut. I mean, we're looking at races where they put her right away in the Del Mar debutante, so you can be forgiving about that against grade 1 company in the second start. Then they cut back and they go 5 furlongs on the turf. Then they're going to go 7 furlongs on the dirt. She's showing speed, but recently she's another one who's been beaten by a lot of these same rivals. What do you do with her, Mike?
Yeah, just looked, I mean, to me, another one in that Jimmy Durante 2-back who just looked totally overmatched in that race after she made the lead. Never looked like she was going to be able to hold on and finish last. Last time you can be a little more forgiving when she was behind two of these horses because she totally leapt up at the start of that race and got totally left at the back of the pack. And there she had a legit excuse in there. That being said, after she gave away all that early position, she basically did nothing and never caught up to the field and never passed a horse.
And we move to Mohaven, who is a Calbred. This filly has raced 4 times, a couple wins and a couple runner-up efforts. Most recently, a stakes win on October the 31st at Del Mar. So this Calbred stakes winner will now try turf for the first time. Will also have to step up and face open company. So this is going to be a little bit tougher than what she's been having to deal with. She is drawn well, and I do think the 6.5 furlongs probably fits her pretty well. I think for some of these dirt horses like Hamika and her, that may even be why they're going this distance even more than maybe the turf, that just the trip that they could get and the 6.5 furlong distance here. She's fine. I think she can be kind of an under type, Mike. I don't know how good she really is, but if she is 4 to 1-ish, that's too short for me to play her like on the win end.
That was my starting off point too. I mean, her dirt races are fine. I would never take 4 to 1 on her or any price even close to that. And she's another one, Gino, who, I guess we'll see how it all plays out. It's not like there's a ton of pedigree here.
No.
To suggest that she's going to be better on the grass. And I just kind of feel like she'd have to be better on the grass if she was going to win this race.
Famous Forza was a winner at 67 to 1 on January the 17th. Got the lead that day. I heard you screaming, Mike, you must have had this horse going wire to wire. Nice. Stayed inside. But what ended up happening that day, the leader blew the turn. This horse got a really nice opening on the inside and was able to hold on. It was fine, but it's another instance where I want to see this horse now have to step up and face tougher.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the right next step of the big maiden win last time. Here's the best thing that I can say about her, Gino. She obviously is bred to be a turf horse, and so making the surface switch was a positive. And the trip really worked out last time, and it wasn't a fast race, and she was a huge price. She looked like a turf horse. She always traveled. She always looked like she got a perfect trip. She always looked like she was going to run in that race. When the rail opened up, she went right through, and she moved away from that field. She's clearly a turf horse. That doesn't mean that this is the right spot to run her in.
We round things out with Total Val, who broke her maiden in her first try on the turf. And it was after she'd been a little disappointing in her dirt races. She was 16 to 1 and she missed the break. She comes flying from way, way out of it. Then in her second turf start, they actually put her on the lead. So she's shown completely different running styles in the 2 races on the grass, Mike. Now she's drawn to the outside. The cutback, I think, can help her quite a bit. I think she's semi-interesting at a big price. Like, of the bigger prices here, the fact that she's shown she can sit close, she can also pass horses. I do like the cutback, and she did perk up on the grass. Like, there's something there. Don't like her quite as much as others, but I wouldn't talk you off her if you liked her.
I agree. If she's going to be 20 to 1 or thereabouts, she's probably one of the more interesting big prices in here because I guess they started her out on dirt because they must have liked her, Gino, because her pedigree's all grass. This is a total turf family on the bottom. And as soon as they switched her over, she improved without a very good trip, breaking her maiden. They tried the stakes race with her last time. I thought she ran pretty poorly in that race, but that's, going a mile and maybe a spot that's tougher than this one. I don't know. I'm with you. I feel like at a big price, I could try to get her in there somewhere, but it's not like I'm totally in love with her.
I think she was one of those horses that was working really well early on in her 2-year-old season on the dirt. And just like you said, they tried a few times there because she was working so well, but all along they probably had the turf in the back of their mind. So we round this field out with the selections. Mike, who are you going to put on top here?
I'm going to take the horse down on the rail that we talked about, who I just feel like is coming off of a couple of really difficult trips. And I think maybe if she can get a better one here, I think she just might be better than she looks on paper. She's going to be a fair price in this race. To me, this is a race you just have to keep an open mind, I feel like, and not settle for too short a price, because I think trips will be really important. And I think a lot of different horses can win here.
Completely agree. Mike's going with Hypergamy on top, 1-5-3-2. And honestly, the 2 horses that I didn't have in the mix were your 2 top horses that I'm absolutely including in like late exotics. I think they're 2 very interesting price horses. I got yours sincerely on top, 3, 6, 7, and 10. I also thought the 7 stuck by her was an interesting price to include, but we'd always love to hear from you. So make sure to drop a comment in the comment section below. Let us know, who are you playing in the Sweet Life, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. So that way, every time we do a preview video like this, you'll be alerted right away. Whoever you play, however you play them, we wish you the best of luck.